Rebecca Lobo. Rebecca Lobo this past Sunday, Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings on ESPN. When it comes to announcers speaking out, this might have been the most outspoken announcers have been when it comes to the egregious officiating, but more importantly, the non-calls. When Caitlin Clark is getting grabbed, getting held, getting yanked, getting hugged, getting hacked. Rebecca Lobo said, okay, Sunday, July 13th, I'm going to make sure it's my mission that when I start calling this game, I start calling a spade and holding these referees to the fire.
Did Ryan Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo just accidentally expose the WNBA refs on live TV? Because what started as casual commentary turned into a full-blown truth bomb about Caitlin Clark getting fouled like she's in a WWE match while the refs sip invisible tea. If you blinked, you missed it. But don't worry, we didn't. Buckle up, because this broadcast just turned into a courtroom drama, and someone's about to get benched permanently. Let's roll the receipts.
And finally, they're saying the quiet part out loud. It's a little bit hard to see. She's literally grabbing her arm. It's insane, and none of that was called. Finally, at the end of the one play, they called the foul because it was like indisputable. I mean, she got whacked on the arm and then gets hit to the ground. But they weren't going to call any of the other fouls leading up to it. I mean, this is what Caitlin Clark is.
It's not just Caitlin Clark, but somehow it's always Caitlin Clark. Every single game, like clockwork, like death, taxes, and WNBA refs swallowing the whistle when she's being body slammed in transition. It's getting to the point where fans are out here Googling, is Caitlin Clark allowed to be tackled mid-dribble? Like they missed a new rulebook memo from WNBA HQ.
Yo, straight calling them out, man. Straight calling them out. And I expected it, because they are straightforward and they speak highly of Caitlin. So when they see the nonsense, man, of course they're going to say something. And I believe most of the commentators should be like that, man. Just keep it real, fam. Keep it real. Call it how you see it. And, whether the WNBA likes it or not, the commissioner likes it or not, Kathy likes it or not, speak your mind, man. That's what people want. They want the truth. So, man, shout out to Ruocco, man. Shout out to Ruocco. Shout out to Rebecca Lobo calling it like.
Now, let's be clear. Other players get fouled too, sure. But there's a special, almost ceremonial quality to how Caitlin gets fouled. No, assaulted. While everyone on the floor, in the stands, and in the broadcast booth collectively gasps, and the refs just keep chewing invisible gum. Caitlin gets dragged from baseline to baseline like she owes someone lunch money, and the officials are apparently watching a different sport, maybe underwater polo, dodgeball, because it's definitely not basketball.
The new man, Ryan Ruocco, Mr. You Bet himself, and Rebecca Lobo ended up bringing up how players have been getting away with fouling Caitlin Clark live on television. Right here, they're talking about this right here, where JJ was holding the arm, okay? Then they're talking about this moment right here too, right? She's reaching through the body, reaching both sides, both arms through the body right here. So they're talking about this one. They're talking about right here on the swat down. It looked like she hit her hand just a tad bit here.
And the best part, it's not just happening in the paint. No, that would be too logical. That would be normal. She's not just getting clobbered in those final 15 feet toward the basket like a brave knight charging into a moat of elbows. No, she's getting mugged the moment she touches the ball, literally from inbound to inbound. It's a 94-foot obstacle course where her biggest opponent isn't the defender, it's officiating that's somehow allergic to basic physics.
It's crazy how Caitlin Clark does not get her foul calls pointed out when they are actually fouling her left and right, all the way from half court all the way down to the basketball hoop. I don't understand how the referees are standing there and they not call the fouls. Her coaches have complained. Even Caitlin Clark gets on the referees of not calling the fouls when she knows there's fouls.
What makes it more maddening is the inconsistency. Some nights a hand check is a war crime, other nights a forearm shower to the ribs is called good hustle. One night you're watching a flagrant 2 for a tap on the wrist, Next, someone full-on WWE clotheslines her, and the ref just makes eye contact with the scorer's table like, "Did y'all see a butterfly? I swear I saw one." It's not just confusing, it's straight-up improv theater. Now, imagine being a fan trying to explain this circus to someone new to the league. You sit them down, you hype up Caitlyn, you explain she's one of the most skilled players on earth. Then you watch her get bulldozed by 3 defenders before she even crosses half court. And nothing, no whistle, just vibes. Meanwhile, the announcers in the booth are having aneurysms, their voices cracking as they try to keep it professional while clearly losing their minds. It's like a live-streamed gaslighting session. And this is where Ruocco and Rebecca Lobo come in with the chef's kiss commentary. Because for once, finally, someone behind the mic decided to stop pretending this was normal. They watched Caitlyn get folded like a lawn chair for the 3rd time in 2 possessions and basically said, "Y'all see this, right?" The sheer disbelief in their tone was everything we've been screaming into the void for 2 seasons. It was like therapy with HD replays.
You think the old guard, you think the old 46,000 fans had enough of a voice? No, they don't got no voice. The new fans need to speak up. The announcers who aren't scared need to speak up. I'm sure a lot of those old announcers are scared. I'm sure they're scared. But the announcers like Rebecca Lobo, Orion Ruocco, they need to step up and say, oh, the officiating that's going on here isn't okay. You guys watch this. Quinterly grabbed Caitlin Clark's arm. Like, Caitlin, where you going? Get over here. Oh, that's interesting. Why play defense when we can just grab somebody's arm, right? Interesting. Quinterly putting her hands around Caitlin Clark's waist. Valentine's Day was a few months ago. Sorry.
Because let's be honest, this has been happening for way too long. We're not just talking about a rough week or two. This is a multi-season saga. This is Game of Thrones with less dragons and more missed calls. And for the people who've been watching long before Caitlyn even hit the pro stage, it's deja vu with a different jersey number. The only thing new is that now it's on national TV, in HD, with millions watching in disbelief. And the WNBA? Oh, they know. Don't let them fool you. They've got the footage, the data, the slow motion angles. They've got more camera angles than a Christopher Nolan film. This is a fixable problem. It's not a puzzle box from ancient Mesopotamia. It's officiating. Standardize what's a foul, train the refs, hold them accountable, maybe have them wear headsets connected to reality, or, I don't know, just call the obvious stuff. Revolutionary idea, I know. Because we are now in an era where the league is chasing growth, visibility, and respect. They're talking parity, marketability, all the buzzwords. But none of that means squat if fans have to sit there and watch their favorite player get fouled 30 times before halftime like it's part of the warm-up routine. It's like going to a concert where the speakers are broken but the band keeps playing and insists everything's fine.
It's a foul as she gets body checked. That's a foul. That's a foul. I mean, it's not only until right now when she's finally whacked on the arm. I'm so happy that the broadcast team finally called it out directly. And it's so insane. And I talked about this in my video where I broke down the whole game. I mean, Enrique clearly fouls her, whacks her. Caitlin Clark gets out. I mean, just even right now, I actually kind of paused it perfectly, not even on purpose. You can see both hands on her body up against her chest. You can't play defense like that. I don't care what random person in the comment section tries to convince you otherwise. That's not defense.
You've got Caitlyn fighting through triple teams, arms flailing, shoes squeaking, getting decked mid-step while the ref is 6 feet away, blinking, not blowing the whistle, just blinking, like they're running diagnostics on whether contact is real. Meanwhile, the broadcast zooms in on her getting shoved into the scorer's table like a piñata. Everyone sees it, the crowd groans, the announcers flinch, the slow-mo replay shows it frame by frame. Still, nothing. Maybe the ref had their AirPods in. Maybe they're on a personal no-call cleanse. Who knows? It's not about giving her special treatment. It's about basic officiating competence. You don't have to wrap her in bubble wrap and tape a "do not foul" sign to her jersey. Just apply the rules evenly, consistently, like you're supposed to. Is that really too much to ask? Because right now it feels like watching someone play basketball in a haunted house. Every 5 seconds something jumps out at her and the refs pretend they saw nothing. It's wild when your average Joe on Twitter has better foul awareness than the professional referees. And don't even start with the rookie treatment excuse. She's not some bench warmer jogging around aimlessly. She's Caitlin Clark, #1 pick, walking billboard. The reason why half the arenas suddenly have waiting lists. And yet, she gets officiated like someone snuck into the game wearing a fake jersey, and no one wants to call attention to it.
Caitlin Clark does not have a special whistle in the WNBA, unlike some other players. A'ja Wilson. Every time you touch A'ja Wilson, she's going through the free throw line. And the announcers definitely will say she's one player that gets a lot of fouls called on her, and she goes to that free throw line. Breanna Stewart, she gets a lot of foul call. You touch her, she gets...
This isn't even about favoritism, it's about credibility. It's about making sure fans don't feel like they're watching chaos disguised as sport. You can't market parity and progress on one hand while letting your biggest stars get tossed around like dodgeballs on the other. Pick a lane, ideally one with fouls that are actually called. The fact that the TV announcers had to be the adults in the room says everything. When they are the ones saying the quiet part out loud, that means the silence from the officiating crew is deafening. They didn't have to go off Skrill and point out the nonsense, but they did, because it was just that obvious, because we're all watching the same game, and somehow the only people who can't see what's happening are the ones with whistles. So now fans are on edge, waiting for the next hackfest like it's a sport within a sport. Will Caitlin get hip-checked into a Gatorade cooler this game? Will someone slap her across the face and get awarded free throws for defense? Who knows? It's a mystery box of chaos wrapped in a referee's shrug. All anyone is asking for is fairness. Not handouts, not diva treatment, just consistent, accountable officiating. If a foul is a foul for player X, it should be a foul for player Y, even if player Y happens to have 3 million Instagram followers and a Nike deal. You don't get to ignore bodily harm just because she has a logo behind her name. That's not letting them play, that's letting them get played. So here we are, again, watching another game where Caitlin hits the floor more than she hits shots, and the refs treat it like an interpretive dance. But now the announcers are calling it out. The fans are furious, the evidence is stacked, the league has a choice. Fix this, or keep pretending it's all fine while your most marketable star gets turned into a crash test dummy every night. Because one thing's clear, it's not just Caitlin, but somehow it is always Caitlin. And now we've reached the part where things stop looking accidental and start feeling like a boardroom decision, because if you've been watching long enough and still have the sanity to track the chaos, it's almost impossible to ignore the elephant in the arena. It's starting to look like the league instructed the refs to just ignore fouls on Caitlin Clark. Yep, that's the vibe, that's the theory. And after 20 games of full-blown basketball mayhem with zero whistle etiquette, tell me it doesn't feel like someone upstairs sent a memo titled, "Let her get rocked." It builds character. And what's wild? The most damning evidence isn't from angry fans or paranoid Reddit threads. No, it's coming live from inside the broadcast booth, because when Rebecca Lobo, the most polished, composed, legendary post-presence turned commentator, starts subtly dragging the refs while still holding the mic, you know it's bad.
So guys, today we got to talk about something, and Paige Beckers in an interview literally exposed just how bad the referee's problem is. Like, she just exposed how bad it was in a pre-game interview for the game. I couldn't find the audio part of it, but Ryan Ruocco literally said she had to forget. So basically, she had to relearn how to play defense while fouling. So, you know, everything you learn about defense, how to play while not fouling, how to move your feet, how to do all this, she had to throw out all the good defensive fundamentals that she'd learned, and now she had to learn to go foul.
And Ryan Ruocco too. He's trying to keep it smooth, trying to toe the line, but even he can't believe what he's seeing anymore. You can hear it in his voice. Every time Caitlin gets clobbered and there's radio silence from the refs, there's this audible hesitation, like his brain is buffering, and then he'll just let out this, or wow. That's code for, I'd like to stay employed, but come on, he's watching someone get folded like a deck chair, and all he can do is narrate the absurdity with polite horror. It's gotten so outrageous that Rebecca Lobo, who could probably find a neutral way to describe a meteor crashing through the court, has started straight up calling the refs out. Not in some over-the-top, fan-crazed way. No, in that brutally honest, calm teacher voice that says, "You're all failing this test and pretending it's the student's fault." She's not yelling, she's not ranting, but she's pointing at the problem, drawing a circle around it with a Sharpie and saying, this is not okay. And when Rebecca Lobo says it's not okay, it's not okay. Because let's be real, it's not just that the whistles are late or inconsistent, it's that they're deliberately silent when it's Caitlin Clark. Like a player could literally throw a shoulder, elbow, and knee into her on one possession, and the refs will stare into the void like they're pondering life's meaning. And you know who's noticing? Everyone, including the most objective voices in the sport, Rebecca and Ryan, who are supposed to call the game, not the conspiracy, but even they can't ignore what's now painfully obvious.
I don't think her importance is overstated. I think she's a singular force like we've never seen before in the women's game, in particular in the women's college game. And we've had great players. We just haven't had this mix of a player who does something we've never seen before in the women's college game in terms of the logo threes. Every time the stakes raise and it feels like, oh, geez, there's got to be a lot of pressure on this kid, a lot of pressure, she meets the...
So what changed? Because this didn't start in college. This isn't a fluke. Caitlin wasn't out here playing at Iowa getting smacked by defenders while the NCAA refs ran laps around the court, ignoring the screams. She got calls in college. She got hacked. She went to the line. It was normal. And now she gets tackled and has to apologize to the ref for being in the way of someone else's elbow. Which brings us to the spicy theory of the season. The league has quietly told the refs, tone it down on Caitlin. Why? Oh, pick a reason. Because she's too hyped. Because they don't want to show favoritism. Because she's a rookie. Because they're trying to toughen her up. Because the optics of constant whistles disrupt the let them play fantasy. Whatever the excuse, it doesn't matter. The outcome is clear. Caitlin's getting absolutely rocked out there. And the Zebras are frozen, like they just saw Medusa. And it's not just once or twice. This isn't about a bad night. This is every single game. Every city, every arena, different crews, same silence. It's like someone handed out Catlin-specific rule books titled, "Ignore all contact unless she's committing it." And even when she does commit a foul, it's almost like the refs overcorrect. Like they've been saving it up and finally get to blow the whistle like they're winning a game of bingo. But again, the real MVPs in this mess, Rebecca Lobo and Ryan Ruocco. And the thing about Lobo...
This is the last thing I'm going to say about the Caitlin Clark WNBA drama, at least for this very moment, because the discourse has gotten absolutely insane. But there has been a lot of media and current athletes coming out and saying that the treatment that players like Caitlin Clark, like Angel Reese, like other rookies are receiving is just how basketball is. It's happened to many WNBA players in the past, and this is just the way it is. And new fans coming to the game just need to deal with it. However, this is the way that the game has been, and the WNBA has never been as successful as it is.
She doesn't say something unless it needs to be said. So when she's pointing out how much contact is happening, when she's breaking down frame by frame, how Caitlin's being bumped, held, slapped, and decked without calls, it's not an exaggeration, it's forensic analysis. She's not just narrating, she's building a case. And trust, the jury is the entire viewing public, and they've seen enough. Let's not understate what they're doing. In a league that's trying to grow, in a media environment that's carefully curated, Rebecca and Ryan are giving us truth in real time, without spin, no sugarcoating. They're saying what fans are screaming and doing it with poise, precision, and just enough shade to make it sting. Because while the league keeps pretending that ignoring Caitlin's fouls is part of some grand plan to let the game flow, Rebecca Lobo is calmly on air with a metaphorical red pen circling, underlining, and highlighting all the nonsense. And if the league thinks they're fooling anyone, they should sit down and rewatch any of the last 10 games with commentary on. Listen to how often Ryan hesitates before saying, no call there.
Ryan and Rebecca going extended rip at the foul issues, absolutely unbelievable criticism. For Paige to say she had to relearn how to defend to be less careful about fouling. That's not basketball. Like, people literally say, oh, it's physical basketball. No, you're just going around hacking people. You're just going around hacking people. That's not foul. That's not defense. Going around hacking people. Genuinely. Going around hacking people is not defense. That's not defense. It's not.
Listen to how Rebecca's tone tightens when she sees yet another hip check on a fast break. That's not broadcasting. That's live commentary therapy. So now it's a standoff. The league has their agenda. The refs have their whistles on mute. Caitlyn has her bruises. And the fans? They've got Rebecca and Ryan. The only duo calling the games like they're not trying to keep a secret. The only voices saying, "This isn't right," while the game continues in chaos. And the league should be grateful for them, because without their honesty, all this nonsense would have boiled over weeks ago. Because if you can't trust the officiating, at least you can trust Lobo and Ruocco to say what everyone's thinking, even if the refs still haven't figured it out.